Welcome to the Late Night Race Review.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Night Race Review and a very exciting US Grand Prix we had today. I'm Dave Jericho, and with me, as always, is Isidro Gonçalves. We're a man down this week with Scotty off selling himself on the streets of Prague for podcast money. So we look forward to welcoming him back for the Mexican Grand Prix. Don't forget, as always, offer your support to the cast by hitting those like, follow, and subscribe buttons anywhere you see them. Isidro, what a race! I have to say, that was a really exciting. What started out as a slow race, and I thought we were going to have a bit of a dead rubber of a race with the Ferraris not challenging. It turned out quite exciting in the end, and obviously the big news of it all was Red Bull are now the Constructors champions as well, which we saw that coming, which was a fitting tribute considering Dietrich died this weekend. The co-founder of Red Bull died this weekend at the age of 78. But so a good send-off they gave him by securing the Constructors Championship this weekend. And like I said, an exciting race. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a great race from start to finish. From the first corner with Sainz going out up to the last lap where Vettel,
yeah,
Gary Magnussen just before the finish line. It was a great race from top to start.
And that's what I thought when you're saying about Sainz going out there on the sort of in turn one. I thought once I saw that happening, I was just like, that's it. This, and I think over the next couple of laps we were starting to see Verstappen sort of pull away a little bit. And I was just like, there's nobody else now that's going to compete. He's gonna finish this 20 seconds ahead of everybody else. And it did still look like that until Bottas brought out the safety car, but and then all hell kicked off after that, and every driver was trying to earn themselves driver of the day. It seemed like, but a good result from Max Verstappen secures Red Bull, as we said, the constructors title. I mean, it was a fairly controlled race up until obviously they had a couple of issues in the pit stop. What did you make of that? What did you think when you saw that happening and you saw Lewis Hamilton able to take the lead?
I think the pit crew guys didn't have the catering this morning.
So, the budget wasn't there for it.
Yeah, so they decided to go on strike for 5 seconds. So I'm sure in Mexico, Red Bull will have all the catering available for every single member of the pit crew. But for a moment, it was looking like the Red Bull Constructor title was lost because, but fortunately, Max was able to get out there and just fight for it.
Yeah, I thought when I saw the wheel gun having issues, I was like, the longer this is happening now, Hamilton's gaining the lead. I didn't expect, though, that he would. I thought, even though Hamilton would take the lead, I thought, look, Verstappen's still going to chase him down, and he's going to catch him with plenty of time to spare. And it didn't. It turned out to be quite a challenge for him in the end, to make his way back up towards Hamilton. And even when he got to Hamilton, I mean, there was a couple of laps there that were dicey enough. Some nice attempts at overtakes, and yeah, it wasn't as plain sailing for him.
Yeah, he was playing his cards right. He knew just when it was right time, so he was just driving, keeping under 0.5, just close enough to get the DRS and then pass him over. So it was bound to happen as soon as he got under the second.
Yeah, and you saw, like, because he was holding off at, like, sort of like the 3.1, 3.4, so, those kind of, that sort of range for quite a while. And I was like, oh, geez, if he can keep this now till the end of the race, I think, he could hold that out for the win. And then the next time I looked, it like, because I was paying attention to the rest of the pack, and then the next time I looked, it was down to 2 seconds. I was like, oh, he's fucked. Yeah, there's no way he's going to hold this up. But I thought it was really exciting as well when Verstappen did take Hamilton, and he was like Hamilton still managed to stay within the DRS within sort of 8/10 or something like that. And of course, Lewis knew he had to play every trick in the book. He was calling every time Max went wide. And then, Max gets the 3 strikes. The black and white flag is out. The warning is there. One more and he's getting a penalty. So you're there watching. You're kind of like, okay, come on. Is he going to go over? And then next thing is you see the black and white flag out for Lewis as well. I thought it was great. They're both kind of racing for the checkered flag on a 3-strike. On 3 strikes. I thought it was exciting. It was great. I was kind of heartbroken for Lewis. And look, it's no mistake that I'm not a Lewis Hamilton or Mercedes fan, but I do like the idea of I think as much as I'm not a fan, you have to respect the quality of driver and what he has had to work with this season. It would have been nice to see him put in a good result and also keep that record going of scoring or winning a race in every season he's competed in. I thought would have been nice.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit sad to see that way, but I think that the fact that he was more concerned about pointing out the flaws of Max, saying, "Oh, he went out on turn 9, he went out." Should focus more on drive.
But I think
by the end he finished.
He was 5 seconds off.
Over 5 seconds. So even if there was a penalty, Max would still win.
But that's it. I think he knew already that his tires were on the limit, and by the time we were getting to the end of the race, the last lap, where he dropped that 5 seconds, like the tires were gone. You could see he was sliding out of every corner. There was nothing left in those tires at all. So I think he knew that was coming. He had no other game to play other than he's gone over the white line. But look, fair play to him. It was great second place from him though.
The Max overtake, he had a lot of grip to going over those curves after Hamilton. He passed him and then curve after curve. The grip on those tires was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I was surprised how long that grip lasts. I know they said, I think the Ferrari were on to, when Leclerc came in for the hard compound tires, Ferrari was on to him with useless information at the time, but Ferrari were on to Leclerc to say that the medium tires were lasting a lot longer than they expected. And when Lewis obviously came out on the hard compound, Verstappen went to the medium. I still thought, even though they did say that the medium tires were lasting longer, I still thought with how hard he was racing with Leclerc, how hard he was racing with Lewis, I was shocked how well Max was able to keep those tires in comparison to how Lewis kept the hard tires. And I know the hard tires tend to go through that window where they tend to drop off and then they come back to the driver. So I don't know whether maybe he was in that period of that tire, but either way, it was unfortunate that he wasn't able to take the win today. But going back to Red Bull though, Sergio Perez, I mean, where did he start? He started 9th, was it? Did he start 9th today? Yeah, he started 9th off the grid after because he had the 5-place penalty for engine components. I mean, he put in a good shift, even with the damage that he picked up at the start on the front wing. Didn't seem to phase him at all. He was putting in faster sectors, and he was up there. He was he was keeping tabs with the front runners. Yeah,
he did a very second driver holding as much as possible, especially keeping Russell away from Hamilton. But otherwise, considering where he started and where he finished, he did a solid race.
Yeah, I mean, he was only I think he was 0.8, 0.7. So he was a bit 7/10 behind Leclerc in the end, which would have suited me quite well. But we'll get to the predictions game later on. But look, a great drive from Perez, did well. And look, at the end of the day, all the points matter. And he did a great job this season in helping Red Bull secure that Constructors title. But onto a team that hasn't had much luck and didn't seem to have much luck today was Ferrari. That So let's start with Sainz, I think, first, because obviously that's the first incidents that happened. Who do you think was at fault here? I think I reckon it was I know. Okay, here I'm fighting with. I'm having a conversation in my own brain here and not getting it out onto the microphone. So I know Russell got the penalty. It did, however, look that Sainz cut back in on Verstappen and as a result, then like Russell went into the side of Carlos Sainz, and I think they were trying to argue that he sort of Russell didn't have control of the vehicle, kind of went, sort of locking up, going straight on. And I don't think he necessarily was. I think he did go deep, but Sainz did cut across him. No, obviously the stewards didn't see it that way and gave Russell a 5-second penalty. But what way do you see that incident?
At first, I thought Russell was at fault causing the crash, but after seeing the replay, Russell, he had no chance there. It was Sainz who just crossed in front of him, and basically Sainz crash was his own fault. Russell was just he couldn't do anything. Even if he hits the brakes, he still hit Sainz because he just goes just across on the race.
I mean, even if you say he did that same maneuver and not as deep into that corner. So say Sainz tried to that same maneuver on to cut inside on Verstappen, but they weren't as deep in. I mean, the same accident would have occurred. So how can you say that Russell was going too deep into the corner and resulted in him going into Sainz? Yeah, I didn't agree with the steward's decision on that one. And Martin Brundle was shouting that the penalty of 5 seconds on Russell wasn't even harsh enough, that because Sainz had to retire in the end he ended up with a water leak or a coolant leak or whatever they're running in the radiator. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't agree with that one, but look, that's my decision. Nobody has to agree with it. That's the way it is. But Leclerc, though, did remain in the race and, got himself up there into P3 in the end. But for a car that had a new combustion engine and a new turbo, I expected a hell of a lot more from him. And it just, he didn't seem to be anywhere close to competing with Hamilton and Verstappen today.
No. It was fast, but not fast enough. Even at times, Leclerc, we could hear in the radio team saying he's fast. His straight speed is just unbelievable. And, I mean, there's nothing he could do. Just take notes for next season.
Yeah, that's well, at the speed he was going at, he probably had time to take notes. But there was some great racing all through the pack though today. I mean, I think everybody, like I said, everyone just seemed to be out for driver of the day today. There was some great overtaking. You had Norris, you had Alonso, you had Vettel. I mean, even down further, I mean, K-Mag was in some nice battles. Gasly, Sonoda, they were all everybody was putting in great moves today. But go on, sorry, you were going to say something?
I think it was the fact that it was the first time in weeks where they could run with the sun and not just lashing down. So they were happy.
But isn't it great to see? Isn't it okay? So it's great to see the good racing, obviously. But isn't this what, when you look at circuits in America, like we have obviously Miami, we're not sure what we're going to see from Las Vegas, but we're pretty sure it's going to be something, spectacle like we see in Miami. But shouldn't this be what United's like when you think of, there's a Grand Prix in America? I mean, your mind can drift now to, Miami, Las Vegas, the spectacles, the stuff that's getting the push, the promotion, the Netflix jazz, and that's going to be around it. But surely this circuit is what, if you're thinking of what's going to be the best race in America, surely this is it. The Circuit of the Americas is just absolutely, this put on such a show today. Like,
yeah, nothing like the Miami that looked like the Super Bowl of F1 with all the show and fanfare they put.
Exactly. I mean, what's Las Vegas going to be like? You're going to have, it's going to look like a stage show. It's going to be an absolute, look, hopefully it's not. But look, to me, I just thought when I was watching this and when it was finished, I was just like, that's when someone wants to think about a race in America, that's what they should think of. That's absolutely just brilliant. So it was. But anyway, we went off the track. I wanted to talk about that crash. Well, actually, the drive from Alonso, especially, to finish. Where did he finish? P6, P7, P7 today he finished. And finish P7 after that horrific accident with Stroll, where he was borderline taking flights, hits the barrier, and the impact on the barrier looked like, I mean, surely I was expecting that's the gearbox gone, that's the suspension gone, something. And he managed to make it back to the pits. I think they changed the front wing and a fresh set of tires, and off he went. Got himself P7 in the end. What did you make of the drive from Alonso? And what did you make of that incident? Who's at fault on that incident? Because I know where I'm laying the blame.
Oh, it's all Lance Stroll's fault.
Yeah,
He knew that
course.
Alonso was there, and you could see he just swerving to the left as Alonso was passing him. So if there's someone to blame, it will be Stroll. He should just let Alonso pass.
Yeah.
He was doing great. He was fast. He was just passing. If it was that move from Stroll, Alonso would probably be much more. I'm not sure if it'd go to P4 or maybe.
Where was he
for
positioned
podium.
when that accident happened? He was P6, was he? And Stroll was 5th or something like that, was it? Or
Yes, they were pretty high.
Yeah, I'm looking at my race notes here, and I wrote down every other bit of information, but the actual useful bit of information that I need at this particular moment in time. Yeah, they were pretty high up. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking there. Would he have competed with Russell for P5? He certainly would have taken P6. Would have taken P6. But Perez, Russell, not sure whether he would have had the pace on those today.
Russell tire was not that good. I mean, he had to pit a couple laps before the end of it.
Oh, well, that was he was going for the fastest lap, though. I don't know. I think he still would have managed to get going with or would have lasted till the end of the race on the tires he had. I think they were just going for the fastest lap. Did he actually get the fastest lap in the end? Doesn't actually say it here on the F1. In a second, let me just see. Fastest lap. Yeah, good stuff. Well, perfect time for F1.com to be updating their system. So yeah, no, he stopped to go for the fast lap. So yeah, look, as much as I'd have loved to have seen him up higher, I think definitely P6 was an option, but absolutely incredible drive. And I would have put him on driver of the day, or certainly in contention for the driver of the day, but the driver of the day went to a retiring old man, Sebastian Vettel, with I mean, it was a good drive. I mean, okay, look, he ended up in first because everyone had made their pit stops, and he decided not to come in because he just wanted to bask in the glory of of leading a race for a little while. But when he came into the pits, he should have been coming back out. I mean, the window that they were working towards was to have him back out in around P6, and then ended up with an absolute mess of a pit stop. Like the jack, did the jack sort of half come down before they had the front left wheel on? Then the jack man removed the jack fully when the wheel gun guy is kind of screaming to, jack the car back up. The guy with the jack is just sort of standing there like, I don't know, what are you looking for? So the reserve jack comes in. So someone else had to come in with the jack and jack the car back up, put the wheel on fully. 16 seconds he lost in that because there was a guy with a jack scratching his head. But yeah, came back out in P13. But what an incredible, I mean, he started gaining and he was a good, again, didn't write down useful information, but he was a good few seconds behind cars in front. So he gained a lot of time to come back to get that P8. And to get that P8 we had an absolutely banger of a finish where he was fighting with Kevin Magnussen on the last couple of corners. Just really thrilling stuff crossing the line. I don't know. What would you do you think he was deserving of the driver of the day today, or is there anyone else you would have given it to?
No, I think he deserved. He did a great drive. Yeah, I mean, even after that that pit stop screw up, he still said, "No, I can still get points for this," and he went out there and he got P8. Wasn't for that, he would probably again. It was probably fighting with Alonso for maybe a P4 or something, because Vettel's class is just what it is.
Yeah, there was it was absolutely brilliant. Actually, did you see Tim Cook? Did you see Tim Cook there with the flag at the end, right? I was in, except from Jing, we're watching the end, and we're like, oh god, and we're watching, Vettel nearly had him. He's going around the outside of Kevin, like really thrilling, proper Formula One racing. And then when they cross the line, you're like, oh, why he's got it. And then it looked like a scene from Weekend at Bernie's, where they had just resurrected Tim Cook and stuck a flag in his hand, and some puppet master just put some string on him to wave the flag back and forth. It was such an anticlimactic shot from the camera angle.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was expecting someone just, I mean, it was an exciting race, and he just goes there and just waves the flag like nothing happened.
Exactly. He may as well have held it in front of him and just blew on the flag just to give it a little flutter as they went past the finish line. But no, that was absolutely incredible. But there was so many great drives. Like I said, Lando Norris towards the end there for the last sort of quarter or third of the race, he was making some great overtakes as well. But okay, if you had to, who disappointed you today?
Albon. I was expecting Albon to finish top 10.
Yeah, me too. Now I can't blame him.
He started very well, but
I think that was just the car, though. He just didn't have it. He just, like, you could see the train of cars was stacking up behind him, and he had nothing left in that car to give. Like, I don't know. I would say, for me, I'm leaning again towards. We've been bashing him all season, but Daniel Ricciardo, I mean, if he qualified P15 and he finished P16 in that McLaren, I'll be honest, I don't know what happened to his race. I can't say I saw anything of him really, so I don't know where it went wrong for him. Similar to Mick Schumacher, I was following him up to a point, and then all of a sudden he was at the back of the pack, and I sort of lost track of what was actually happening with him.
Mick Schumacher, he was doing well. I think at some stage he was at P8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then a few laps goes by, and I check again. Oh,
it's gone Pete Tong for Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
It's well, another one that didn't disappoint today. Latifi spun the car and got himself a penalty for pushing Schumacher off the track. So he's finishing his career as he started out.
Latifi being Latifi.
Latifi doing Latifi things. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up the US Grand Prix. Absolutely thrilling race. I was really excited, delighted, looking forward to seeing it again next year. And I am pretty sure next season it will outclass Miami and Las Vegas. So anyone from Texas, be sure to know you have a better race than the others. And right, let's move on from the race day review to our predictions. And let's see how this panned out. And as Scotty's not here, I hope I can make fun of him, but I'm not sure what his predictions were. So I'll call out mine, and I'll call out Scotty's. So, right. I had Verstappen to finish first, and that's a point for me. I had Hamilton to finish second, even though I wanted him to win today. I'll take the second because it gives me the point. And I had Perez to finish third, which he was so close to doing, but that's a negative. Scotty, you had Verstappen because I'm pretty sure you copied me, so I'll give you 1 point for that. You had Perez second, and you had Hamilton third, goose egg. Zero.
I had Verstappen first.
Oh, and it went wrong from here.
Yeah. Leclerc second. And Russell third.
Oh,
Not good.
all right. My flop, and I thought it was going to happen at one point, but I had both McLarens to finish outside the top 10. And actually, Norris being a hero. Actually, I thought for a second there, I thought he got 7th, but I forgot it's Alonso finished 7th. But yeah, he finished P6, so that knocks out my one. Oh, Scotty had Vettel DNF. That certainly didn't happen. He got driver of the day, Scotty. Driver of the day.
Well, when it was pit stopped in seconds, it was close, to be real.
Well, it was close, but he got driver of the day, and Scotty can think about that while he's selling himself on the streets of Prague. All right, Isidro.
Sainz DNF.
Oh, nice. 1 point. All right. Albon, top 10. So close, but no cigar. 0 for me. And Scotty had Daniel Ricciardo, top 10. 0. And Isidro.
I went with Mick Schumacher, top 10. I was in the hip train.
Yeah. Well, that means then that I finish this week on 2 points and you finish on 2 points and Scotty on 1 point. So we tie this week with a point each for the table. So that means that at least I've broken away from Scotty's. That leaves me on 8 and yourself and Scotty now tied on 7 apiece. She's going down to the wire for the end of the season, isn't it? There's only 3 races left, and I'm on 8, Scotty, and you both on 7. My top 3 for Mexico will be, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are going to have the same here, but I'm going with Perez for the home win. I was going to put Verstappen first. Actually, sorry, I'll just say this, Verstappen second. I was going to put Verstappen first, but I just have a feeling Verstappen's won it now. He may be a little more assisting to his teammate for him to get to win his home Grand Prix. Maybe. So
Yeah.
so I'm going that way. And Sainz P3.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know.
risky move.
That is an absolute risky move. But he had the pace today, apart from Russell
For what?
torpedoing him.
50 meters.
Well, I mean, he had the pace over the weekend. The pace over the weekend, sorry. Not yeah. Over 50 meters, he had the pace today. Yeah. No, he had the pace this weekend. I just think he'll maybe he might come good in Mexico. Oh yeah, sorry. I haven't got Scotty's results up. Or sorry, Scotty's predictions up. Oh, the professionalism. Oh God. Okay, let me scroll through here. What do we got here? Oh, Scotty's gone the exact same as me. He's gone Perez. He's gone Verstappen P2, and he's gone Sainz P3 as well. Zero. Who did you go with for your top 3?
Perez, Verstappen, and Leclerc.
So you gone Perez, Verstappen, and Leclerc. Okay.
Although I think Verstappen will finish first. We are playing with the heart, but I think Max just wants to win.
Do you think he's going to be that ruthless not to help his teammate get his home win? Even though maybe he just wants the records now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll go with the heart.
Yeah, we'll go with the heart. We're all going Perez. We're just cancelling each other out. All right. So my flop, I've gone with Alonso with a DNF. Now, Scotty has got. Fuck's sake. Scotty's also gone with Alonso. What the hell? All right. I know Scotty now is going to say that I copied him because he put in his predictions first, but I genuinely didn't this week, Scotty. Who's your flop, Isidro?
Norris, DNF.
See, I was gonna go with Norris, and I backed out. I chickened out. All right, my surprise is going to be Bottas, top 10, and Scotty's better not be Bottas. Oof, he's gone Gasly, top 6.
Gasly did well last year.
Yeah, that's just a big shout though. He could have called top 10 and we might have let him away with it, maybe because he's not here. All right, who did you go with as for your surprise?
Top 10, Albon.
Albon top 10. We've been rotating. I went with Bottas because we've been rotating between Albon and Schumacher consistently this week or this season. So I had to mix it up a bit. So Bottas I went with, and Albon you've gone with. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Well, I think that just about does it for this week's episode. Really enjoyed this race. Let us know in the comments on if you're watching this on YouTube. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's race. But that's it for this week's episode. We'll be back, obviously, next week for the Mexican Grand Prix. And as always, if you want to get in touch, you can reach us at feedback@LateNightRaceReview.com. Drop a comment below on YouTube or stalk us on our DMs via Instagram or Twitter. Until next week, though.